Hey there, adventurers. I'm Norolf. Welcome to my role-playing game Realm and to session 17 of my Powers Perils solo play. So when last we left our intrepid adventurers, Gildor, Raffin, and Marazan had approached the rundown shack that they had encountered in the forested depression. As they approached, they were attacked by a number of orcs and by a wizard, a chaos wizard. The battle went relatively well. The Chaos Wizard failed to get any of his spells off successfully, whereas Gildor managed to actually succeed in the two spells that he tried. So where we left off, they had just finished the battle and had gone through and collected anything of value off the bodies, and they were on the way to search the rundown shack. Gildor had received 21 combat experience points from that battle and 52 magic experience points, which translates to also giving him 1 characteristic for the combat experience points and 3 characteristics for the magic experience points. So for combat experience points, for every 50 that you get 1 characteristic. And for magic experience points, with the combat experience points, you require a minimum of 10 combat experience to be able to get that 1 characteristic. On the magic experience point side, for every 25 magic experience points, you get 1 characteristic with no minimum. So that 52 translated to 3 characteristics, which he applied 1 point to. There we go. Let's go to this. So 1 point to his agility, 2 points to his will, and 1 point to his empathy. He also received 6 expertise points in each of scimitar, bow, and shield. And his scimitar expertise level went from 0 to IL1. Raffin got 144 combat experience points, which is 3 characteristics. And he used his characteristics on 1 on strength, 1 on stamina, 1 on agility. And he also got 6 expertise points in bastard sword, longbow, and shield. And Marazan ended up with 207 combat experience points, 3 points short of getting 5 characteristics. So she only got 4 characteristics from that. And she put those towards 1 characteristic to strength, 2 into stamina, and 1 into agility. And she got 6 expertise points in broadsword, bastard sword. She had to swap weapons halfway through because she broke her magic sword, her broadsword. And 6 expertise in longbow. And, as well as shield. So, that catches us up. Now, the shack itself. So they ended up going into the shack and searching it. Inside, they found very little of value, other than in one of the rooms upstairs, likely the leader's room, the Chaos Wizard. They found a folded piece of paper that had a rather brusque message to Kelgan from someone named Chiral. And it turns out that same name, Chiral, is what was signed at the bottom of the previous dispatches that our characters had found within the Orc Cave near Gold Edge. Basically, the gist of the message was that Kelgan was to take his motley crew of orcs that he leads, along with his lurchers, to find the artifact. It included directions and a very crude map that led to this general area. And it basically explained that this was the site of an old chaos stronghold from ages past, so that the ruins may be difficult to find, but he was to find them or else, and that he was expected to deliver the relic that was found within at the end of the month to their usual meeting place within Cloverlass. Now, Cloverlass itself is, we look a little bit to the west here. Cloverlass is is probably the largest town largest town next to Carricketton within this kingdom. And that's off here to the west. So Gildor and Raffin exit the building. Meanwhile, Marazan's kind of been keeping an eye on the area and the cave entrance just to make sure that they weren't assaulted by anything else. Party makes their way around to the back of the house and proceeds to make their way into the cave area. Cave itself, the opening leads into a dark cave. The smell of wet earth, decay, and the feeling of immense evil assaults their senses as they approach. Raffin leading, Marazan following, and Gildor closely bringing up the rear behind. So let's go to the underground map. So for this, I'm actually using a map from Neutral Party. If I remember, I'll try and put a link to their Patreon page down below. But anyways, just an interesting map that I came across that I decided to use for this instance. Let me get the party member set up on here and we will proceed. Our characters start making their way into the cave. The squares I'm using here, well, I'm using squares for one instead of hexes because it lines up a little bit better with this map. They make their way into the dark cave. They can feel the cool air as they enter. Off in the distance, they can hear the sound of running water. Our characters make their way further into the cave and catch a glimpse of some sort of a creature up ahead moving around. And what they see are creatures that look like this, known as Orchi, or Orchi. I guess Orchi is, I'm guessing, is probably closer. Known to be not pleasant creatures, and the one here is looking north into probably another chamber or something beyond there, while this one is looking off to the east. And the sound of the running water seems to be coming from somewhere further away from them. So we'll see if they can surprise these guys. Fairly certain that none of our characters have underground survival, underground 1 or 2 for that matter. So it's going to be just a straight base chance of underground being 20%. And we rolled a 50, so we do not surprise them. And basically the creatures obviously are being vigilant, paying attention, looking for some sort of trouble, and occasionally do look back at the entrance and see our characters starting to kind of attempt to creep in here. We will start with our usual phase activities. Right. So our phases consist of mana allocation, and actually I should probably write these creatures down. So start with that. Their hit points are going to be 46, PV 14, PV 6, natural weapon index 4, strength bonus plus stamina bonus. Note dex and agility will come into play here. Movement rate is 12, so they are doing 3 for phases. Natural armor 3, PV 7, DDF 7, combat difficulty factor. And they go to a DTV of -6. That is starred, which means they fight to the death, or till they do their actual -6. So in essence, they've essentially got 52 hit points. Right. And they're just fighting with their natural weapons. So beating with their fists, I guess. Okay, so mana location, we don't have any. Missile fire, I think these guys are going to move in closer. And movement. So 5-foot hexes. Phase 1, everybody's moving 3. 5, 10, 20. See how far they get here. 10, 15, 30 for a second diagonal. 5, 15, 20, 30 to get to there. And this guy will move to here. And 5, 10, 15. Yeah, so they will actually move up on our 2 frontliners. And magic, or, well, sorry. And we do our melee attacks. So OCV 14, they are basically the equivalent of polearms, so they have an attack order of 3, so they'll be going first. Because I think, let's see. Yeah, Marazan's broken her magic sword, which would have been an attack priority 4, so she's actually got a 7. And Raffin, I think, is a 5. Magic Bastard Sword is a 5. And this round, Gildor will not be attacking, and next round he'll probably be gathering some mana to cast something at one of these guys. Right. So the first one is attacking Raffin. So Raffin has a DCV of 9, so he's on the +5 line, and he is subtracting 4 for his natural weapon index and adding 2 for the EL and 2 for the defensive factor of the shield. So he's basically net 0 on the +6 line. Or so, yeah, +5 line, sorry. On the +5 line, rolls a 73, which is going to be a miss. And versus Marazan, we have a DCV of 10. We are on the +4 line. He has a shield skill of 3 and a defensive factor for the larger shield of 2, so he's adding 1 to his roll. 67 on the +4 line is going to be a miss. So we have Raffin attacking back. Raffin is OCV 10 versus the DCV 6, so he's on the +4 line. And he is adding, or subtracting, sorry, 7 and 4, 11 points from his attack. And that is going to be a 13 on the +4 line, so that's going to be a severe hit exactly. And on a severe hit, Raffin is doing a D10 +9. So 12 points. Subtracting natural armor value 3. So he's going to be doing 9 points damage to number 2. Using his bastard sword. So this is down to 37. Right, and Marazan attacks. She is also OCV 10. She is subtracting just the 7 for the bastard sword that she's using. Again on the +4 line with 16 minus 7 is going to be a 9. And I think we already know that's going to be a severe hit on the +4. So he is doing D10 plus 7 less 3. So 9 points as well. So that is at 7. And that completes the first phase. Second phase. So mana allocation. I think Gildor is going to do a spell since he's got basically full mana. And I have a feeling he's going to do his usual Smokeless Flame. He has an EL. Yeah, he's getting close to leveling that again, so I think he's going to try and get a Smokeless Flame off. And he's gathering 4 mana per phase, regardless of whether he's using a language or not. And that's a base mana cost 4. He'd probably like to get that off in... Well, he can cast it EL 0 in one phase. Or EL... Actually, he can get off EL 3 if he can get his language in 2 phases. So with the language, he can cast it at EL 3. And the language reduces the cost of the casting by 20%, so that 10 becomes 8. I think he'll just get it off at EL 0. But he will use his language anyways, just because it gives him a better expertise in the spell. And his language is number 2, which is Tongue of a Giant. Has a 60 in that, so a 6% chance of using the language, 43. He has got an effective casting level of 3. He's getting it off at EL 0. So he is adding 7 for the magic defensive value of the Orchi. He's going to cast it at number 1. And he's subtracting, he's got an effective EL of 3, so he's subtracting double the EL, so 6. So he's adding 1 to his roll on the 5 line. And we have no missile fire, so I'm just going straight to magic effect. 4. That's a success. All right, so our spell, probably know this already, done these enough times, but I'll look it up here just to make sure I get it right. Smokeless Flame. All right. Smokeless Flame, he's at 1 inch, which is basically max range for his EL 0, and he is doing, if he cast it in 2 phases, it would have been 3d10 plus 12, but he's doing it EL 0, so it's going to be just the straight 3d10. And armor and stuff doesn't affect that. So let's do our damage. And he is doing 21 points. That's going to be 16 left. And then we get back into the melee. So our Orchi are swinging first. First one is on the +5 line, net 0 if I remember correctly. 82 is going to be a miss. The other one's on the +4 line with a +1. 83 is going to be a miss. Raffin swings. He's going to be on the +5 line. And a 56 is going to be with some minuses, is going to be a shield hit. So Raffin's shield hit with his sword is going to be a d6 +5. And that's going to be 6 points, so 3 get blocked by the natural armor value. So 3 points get through. Raffin, Bastard Sword. And Marazan will take her swing. She's subtracting 7 from her roll. And that's going to be a miss on the +4 line. Okay. And that is the end of phase 2. Phase 3. Oh, what I didn't do is knock off mana that Gildor used. So that was EL0, so it's 4 more mana. So, phase 3, any magic mana allocation. Gildor's going to do the same thing again, EL0. He's going to use the language though, so 60% chance of language. 23, so the language works. So he is adding 1 to his roll on the 5 line. And 23 is going to be a success. So again, his smokeless flame goes off. This time he wants to use it on the other guy. So he is doing 3d10 to number 2. And not quite as good. That's going to be 11 points of damage from a smokeless flame. That's 23 left. And our Orchi will attack their respective opponents. Alright, so first one on Raffin. He is on the +5 line, and he is net 0 on his roll. 98, wow. Not rolling well for these guys. And on Marazan with a +1 to his roll. 53. And that's going to be on the +4 line. Shield hit. Don't believe he can damage her shield. He has a base 13. He's doing a d6 plus strength bonus. So d6 plus 3. Yeah, I guess he could do 9 points, which could essentially damage the shield. So that is going to be 8 total. And to damage the shield, it has to do more than half the combined DR and EL for the shield. So EL3, armor value 10. But it needs to be 7 or more, so it actually is 1 point of damage on the shield. Had he somehow managed to do 14 points of damage, it would have completely broken the shield. Alright, so Raffin and Marazan will swing back, starting with Raffin. Raffin is on the +4 line, as is Marazan. So on the +4 line, we have 71. With all his minuses, I think he's got minus 11 or so. It's going to be a miss. Marazan, same line. 95 is going to be a miss. Phase 4. I think this round Gildor is going to move in to attack. The only place he can attack is next to Marazan. Do our movement in melee. And I don't believe he is going any faster than the other folks here. He's with his magic scimitar, he's got an attack priority 5, so he is going the same time as Raffin. And I think he's got the better Actually, I think Raffin is probably going to go before Gildor when they do get to their attacks. Let's start with the Orchi on Raffin. And he's net 0 and 92. Wow, not rolling good for these guys. And the one on Marazan. So I think on a 1 or 2, he's going to switch to Gildor. Look at that. He's decided to swing at Gildor, so he hasn't been able to hit Marazan. So Gildor has a DCV of 8. And this thing is going to be on the +6 line. Gildor's shield skill is 1, so he's subtracting 3. And this thing is subtracting. So this thing has a -1, or sorry, adding 3 to the roll, and this thing has -4. So he's subtracting 1 on the +6 line. 93. That's definitely going to be a miss. All right. Let's start with Raffin. Raffin is on the +4 line, and he's subtracting 11. So 68. Going to be a miss. Gildor is OCV 7 and DC 6, so he's on the +1 line, and he is subtracting a total of 7. And a 22 less 7 is going to be a 15 on the +1 line, so that's just a regular hit. And his regular hit does a die 6 +4. So 8 points. 8 points less 3 for the natural armor value. So 5 get through on number 2. -5. This is Gildor with his scimitar. And last but not least, Marazan. Oh, actually had an extra -5. I don't think, because of the 2 of them attacking the Archie, I don't think that would have made any difference. Guessing it probably still would have been a hit. I don't remember what I rolled offhand, but my loss anyways. So Marazan is subtracting 7 plus the extra 5 for the multiple people fighting the Orchi. So -12 to her roll. And that's going to be very likely a shield hit, maybe. He was on the +4 line. 68. Minus 12. Yeah, that's going to be a shield hit. And these don't have shields, so she is doing d6 +3. So 4 points damage get through. 4. Oops. 1. Oh. Screwed that one up. So this still has 23. -5 over here. Gildor. I am totally screwing this up, ain't I? Okay, so this is number 2. This is number 1. Gildor with the scimitar. So I made 11. And yeah, anyway, so I guess they both got hit by smokeless flames, so it's not too much of a difference. And got to pay more attention to which ones I'm taking damage off of. And what did I say she did? 4 plus... Oh, so 4 damage. 4. Marazan with the bastard sword. So it has... Oops, 7 points. Plus it still goes to -6. And I think that's it. Yes, that's it. So next phase. Phase 1, round 2. I think we're just swinging again. And let's start with Orchi number 1 on... Oh no, that is right. Okay, sorry. I can't even read the numbers on the screen. This is 1. This is 2. I was doing it right. Taking it off the wrong one second time around. Okay, first Orchi on Raffin. 20. Net 0 on the +4 line is going to be a hit. And Raffin is taking, getting hit by a d6 plus 3. Ooh, 9 points. And his armor, his chainmail blocks 3 of that, so his armor takes 1. And he takes 6. Oh, I probably should have healed these guys before they came in here. Well, after this battle, I'll have to remember to do that. And the one on a 1 or 2, it switches to Marazan. So it's still on Gildor. I guess it's decided it's hit him once, so 45 -1, I think it was, so 44. On the +6 line, going to be a shield hit. So die 6 plus 3. He's doing 7 points, which may be enough to damage the shield. He's only got an 11, so yes, 1 point of damage to the shield. And now to Raffin. Raffin, he is on the +4 line with a 20 minus 11. That's going to be a 9. A 9 on the +4 line is going to be a severe hit, to which he does a die 10 plus 9. Ooh, 19. Well, so first things first, that 19 is going to be enough to damage his sword, because it's over his fatigue value, which is currently sitting at 15. And that 19 damage gets reduced to 16. So minus 16 for Raffin with his bastard sword. 16 is going to be a, what is that, 7? And Gildor swings at when he's attacking. And he is subtracting a total of 7 from his roll. 51 on the +1 line. 51 is going to be a shield hit, so that's going to be a regular hit, which for him is a die 6 plus 4. And he's got, so it's going to be 7 points of damage. -7 for Gildor with his scimitar. He's at 0 and still standing because he fights till -6. And now Marazan swings at it. And Marazan is subtracting 7, 12. I keep getting the extra -5 for Gildor. That's going to be another shield hit, which is a regular hit. He's doing a die 6 plus 3. 4 more points. So he's at -4. That is the end of that phase. So our 2 Orchi are still standing. And they are now swinging at our characters again. First Orchi on Raffin. Ooh, that's not good. 0-1 on the +4 line is going to be a deadly hit. So that is actually going to do 3 points of damage to his chainmail. And that deadly hit is going to consist of 4d10. Dice here. We are looking at 19 points less. Oh, and of course on the deadly, the chainmail and the helm, that so reduces by 5. That 19 becomes a 14. Ouch. So he's down to, what is that? 28. He's got 6 hit points left. Yeah, definitely going to have to stop and do like a healing mist or something after this battle. Or I guess Gildor could potentially step back and heal. Yeah. Well, let's see what he does. So Gildor, actually, sorry, let's swing the other one. The other one swings at 1 or 2 Marazan. Oh, still going after Gildor. 96 is going to be a miss. All right, Raffin, here's your chance to redeem yourself. You have a minus 11 to your roll, a 7 on the +4 line. This is going to be a severe hit. And again, on his severes, he's doing a D10 + 9. There's no way he can't kill this. Oh, no, that's not true. It's got 13 hit points left. Let's see a big number. So 10 points of damage with the natural armor value reduction, so -10. Raffin with his bastard sword, which makes him -3, still standing. Gildor is going to move and cast a healing next round on Raffin. So he's not attacking. Marazan is going to swing. No longer has the extra -5. So 67 less 7. Going to be a 60 on the +4 line. Is a miss by 2. Too bad that minus wasn't there. All right. That is the end of that phase. Phase 3. Gildor is doing a healing spell. So healing. You can gather 4 mana per phase. The base mana costs 1 spell. He could cast it, if he gets his language off, he can cast it at EL2. Well, he has EL2. He can already, oh no, but he wants the language to reduce the mana cost by 20%. So 80, so this spell uses his Tongue of the Cid, which he has an EL80 in. So 80 or less, yep, 30, so he's using the language successfully. So he's got an effective EL of 3 in the spell now. And yeah, so EL5, yeah, so 3. So he's, yeah, still gathering 4 mana per phase. So he's casting EL2. Raffin wants the spell to affect him, so he's subtracting his MDV from the spell roll, so adding additional -3. And Gildor's effective EL is 3, so EL times 2 is subtracted, so that's going to be 6. So subtracting 9 from his roll. Hope this works. -9 on the 5 line, because his magic experience level is 5. And that's going to be a success. So he's doing a... So focus like 2 and a healing 2 heroes. And our healing spell does... Okay, the healing does a d6 plus stamina bonus. Raffin's stamina bonus is +2. 1d6 plus 2 plus the EL, which is 2. His healing increase the next morning, if he's still wounded, will be 3, so plus 15%. And his stamina bonus is not increased, so I needed to have cast EL3 to give him a bonus to his stamina for the next morning. He gets D6 plus 4. 5 points back. Well, I guess it's better than nothing. So let's get rid of that 7 becomes a -2. All right. Now we get back to the combat. So the first one attacks Raffin. 95 is going to be a miss. Second one attacks Marazan. 94 is going to be a miss. Raffin swings back with his minus bunch, and he misses. Marazan is going to swing at the one in front of Raffin. She's going to get an extra -5, as that was a bit of an afterthought. I'm not going to have given, well, even with the extra -5, Raffin wouldn't have hit. So 32, that's going to be a regular hit. And she is doing a die 6 plus 3, so effectively just a die 6 when you take the natural armor value into account. And she does 3 points damage, which is exactly enough to finish it off. So it is dead. -B for Marazan, the bastard sword. And that is the end of that round. Let's get rid of the one in front of Raffin. There we go. Nice little splatter mark. Next phase. You know what? I've been doing the same thing before. Gildor is not doing healing. He will probably end up moving and attacking this round. On a 1, it changes to Raffin. On a 2, it'll change to Gildor, and the rest it stays on Marazan. Oh, look at that. It's decided that Raffin is the better target. So net 0, 71 is going to be a miss. Raffin swings. He's got an extra -5. So that's just going to be a regular hit. He is doing, and this thing only has 2 hit points left. Can't do this. Let's do the damage just because. All of them get to swing at it this round, so they all can claim that last 2 hit points of that this creature has. That's 6 points less 3, so 3 points, and that is enough to kill it. Gildor swings, Gildor misses. Marazan swings, Marazan hits, so she can also claim that last 2 hit points of damage. She's doing a d6 plus 3, and she will also claim that. So our little creatures here are dead. So they will actually exit the cave. I'm not going to move them back to the outside. So they'll exit the cave, and while out in the sunshine, I think it was a sunny day. Sunny day with a light breeze. Yeah, so they will spend some time. Gildor will cast his healing mist spell. I think Raffin is the only one. Yeah, Raffin's the only one damaged. So he will cast it at EL1 or EL0. And speaking of casting, he's used an additional 4, so he's down to use 16 total for the healing mist. And the healing mist spell at EL0 is going to cost him 3 mana on the first cast. Again, he's casting it deals 0. Not subtracting anything. You know what? He's got the time. Let's cast deal 1, or try to. He'll use his language. Sid, tongue of the Sid at 80. Does not work. But it's not a, so it's just a failure. So it still goes off at deal 0. And he's just subtracting Raffin's MDV, which is 3. So 31. So that's a success on the 5 line. So it takes so many phases or rounds, and Raffin will actually get healed up to full. Really powerful spell. Great for when you're not in combat, but absolutely useless if you're in combat. Almost verging on an OP spell, but anyways. I will worry about that some other time. So they make their way back into the cave, probably some half hour later after they've rested and recuperated a bit. And ahead of them, they see, they start to explore this little bit of an area. Gildor is aware that the horn of the Orchi is worth money, so I think that's like 6 gold per horn, used in some sort of magical concoctions of some sort. I don't remember offhand what it was, but so he'll proceed to cut the horns off them. And I actually have to remember that Gildor, second healing on Raffin, so 62. Raffin does not die from having the second healing cast on him. His chance was his Constitution times 2, so 112, less the damage that he had left, which, if I remember correctly, was about 20 something. So it would have been like if I'd rolled over 90, I would have been concerned in trying to figure out whether or not he actually died. The 62 is pretty safe. But you definitely won't be getting any more healing spells today. Okay. So they have 2 Orchi horns. Oh, and I should probably add up their combat experience points and skills that they've gained here. So I'm going to do a quick ad, and I'll be right back. Right, I've gone through and done all the maths. So Gildor, for his 2 smokeless flames, he's gotten 14 that were cast at EL0. He's gotten 14 magic experience points for each of those, and 14 expertise points for each of those. The expertise is 2 times the MDV, which is 7. The magic experience gain is MEL plus 2 times the MDV. So had he cast it at a higher level, would have been more experience. The healing spell gave him 4 magic experience points and 2 expertise in the spell. Healing Mist gave him 6 experience points and 6 expertise in the spell. That was cast at EL0. And the 2 languages he used, he would have gotten 4. They rolled 2 die 10 and got a total of 4. So that expertise that would have gone into those supernatural languages, because they're maxed, just becomes experience. I'm putting the 4 into magic experience points, and a total of 42 magic experience points, which gives him 2 characteristics as well. In the fight with a scimitar, he did a total of 12 points of damage, so 12 times 7, with the combat difficulty factor is going to give him 84 combat experience points. He's getting 14 expertise in the scimitar and 14 expertise in his shield, and he's getting 2 characteristics from that. Characteristics for magic experience points is for every 25 points, or 1 for every 25, and for combat experience, it's 1 for every 50, with a minimum of 10. Raffin did a total of 38 hit points of damage, so he gets 266 combat experience points, which gives him 6 characteristics. He's getting 14 in his Bastard Sword, 14 expertise. I don't remember his shield getting hit, so just using his shield in battle gives him 1 expertise. And Marazan, she did a total of 20 points of damage. She's getting 140 combat experience points, 14 expertise in her Bastard Sword, and 14 expertise in her shield. And from that 140 combat experience points, she's getting 3 characteristics. So I will figure out where to add those. Let's start with Gildor. So Gildor has 2 characteristics from his magic. So those he can't put into stamina or agility. And he can't put more than half of those in any one stat. So I think he will add 1 to dexterity, make that a 33. And he will add 1 to his will, so let's make that a 43. Then for these other 2 characteristics, let's add 1 to agility, make that a 23. And let's add 1 to his, let's go for empathy. Just mix it up a bit. Definitely be wanting to work on his intelligence to get that up higher, and his will. Those have nice high ends on them. Be pretty decent magic user when he gets into the upper levels. Even his empathy is pretty decent. So, oh, and then he's getting 84 combat experience points. Okay, Raffin, you are getting 266. And 6 characteristics. You know what? I'm going to split those evenly between strength and stamina. That's going to be 42 and 42. And his main weapon is his Bastard Sword, and his Bastard Sword is based on strength and stamina. I want to make sure that he's got some headroom for being able to get to his max EL keeps going up. At the end of the day, actually his stamina is almost maxed out. It maxes out at 44. So 76 and 44, what's that going to be? 120? So 12 will be his max eventually. Right. And Marazan, he gets 140 combat experience points. I don't remember what her total is because I didn't print off a new sheet after I updated it last time. She's already ML 6. Oh, yeah, so she did break the 120 last time. And she's adding 3 characteristics. So let's put 2 into stamina, so it makes that a 40, and 1 into strength, makes it a 39. Marvelous. And I think that's it for this page. I don't think I need this anymore. Other than I need to add into their various and sundry character sheets. That is one battle down. Our characters are in this cavernous area. Again, they hear the flowing water off to the east here. And they can see some sort of a tunnel up to the north. And just walls down below, I guess. Let's explore just a little bit farther here. They are, and it looks like it's flowing southward here. Whoops. Flowing southward here. And it doesn't look like they have anywhere else to go in that direction. So they set their sights northward. So again, Raffin taking up the lead. Raffin is using some sort of light source, so he's got kind of limited vision here. So it kind of behooves us to get maybe Marazan up to the front with her dark vision, her ability to see in the darkness. Wouldn't call it necessarily dark vision, but seeing in darkness up to 100 feet. And she can actually see in total darkness 10 feet. Up ahead, it looks like there is a pillar, or perhaps a chamber of some sort, a non-natural chamber. Actually, speaking of which, this area here looks like it may have caved in and potentially washed out at some point. Maybe this water had risen and kind of maybe taken out this area. But it looks like you're catching the glimpse of some sort of man-made underground stoneworks here. So they will carefully move forward and see what they come across. Okay, so Marazan leads the way, stepping forward. And somewhere up ahead there, she catches the sight of some sort of a gruesome-looking creatures. And we have... These must be the lurchers, the zombies that were referred to in the letter. They seem to be beating on some doors that they are trying to get through. So they're somewhat preoccupied. I think there's a fairly decent chance that our party here can surprise them. Looks like there's a total of 5 of them. Although this one is at the back, so I'm not saying that he's necessarily an astute scout or guard of any sort, but I think that'll only just slightly increase their chance of ambushing these things may not be all that great. But I'm going to say that it's maybe, instead of just 20%, it's going to be double that, so 40%. A 69. So I guess trudging up into this area, they're made probably just enough noise that these things beating on these doors catch the sound of our characters moving in. Perhaps this other zombie, as it was lumbering back and forth, happened to see our characters. And we are into the next combat here. These mindless things just kind of turn around and start making their way towards the party to attack them. Again, let me get the page set up here, and I will be right back. Okay, these guys are pretty basic. Total hit points 13 each, OCV 7, DCV 0, and natural weapon index 0. These things are beating on our characters with their fists, their meaty fists. Strength bonus of +1. They're pretty slow. Movement rate of total of 9, so 2, 2, 2, 1. Natural armor value 2, so they do have, they do kind of ignore some of the pain or damage. And MDV 3 in case I want to cast a spell on them. Combat difficulty factor 1. And a DTV is 0, so once they hit 0, they're dead. Drop. Guess they're already dead if they're zombies. Let's start with phase 1. And our movement. So, I think Marazan is going to move up to intercept the ones up top. 10, 15, 20. don't think we want to split up the party too much, so maybe she'll move to there. He will move up 10, 20. He's going to be moving as well, so let's 5, 10. Up there. This first one, 5, 10, moves up to there and attacks Raffin. Moves up and he'll attack one of those two. 5, 10, 15. He's not too smart. He'll just move up to there and attack her. 5, 10, 15, 20, and 20. All right. That's as far as they get. So, top of the round. These things are OCV 7. I don't think Gildor's using any spells this time around. So OCV 7 is the equivalent of a heavy sword axe, which means our characters are going first. Characters go first. Raffin, then Gildor, then Marazan. Oh, actually, yeah, that's right. Raffin, attack party, going to be 5, so he's going first. Raffin will swing at one in front of him here, which is number 1. And Raffin is on the +10 line and subtracting 11. 65 on the +10 line. You know, he could do so much better than that. 65 is going to be a shield hit. And he is doing 6 plus 5. Subtracting 2 for the natural armor value, so 5. That's going to be 8. Gildor is the next one to swing at zombie number 2. Gildor is on the +7 line. And Gildor is subtracting 6, 7 total. Actually, let's double check that, because Gildor would have added 14 points to his scimitar skill. Or is EO1? Correct. I think I forgot to add in some points last time here. Well, I'll worry about that later, but we'll just say it's EO1 at the moment. I have a feeling that the 14 combat experience or 14 expertise points that he got from the last battle may have bumped his scimitar skill up by 1. So anyways, he's subtracting 7. These things have no natural armor value. So that is actually going to be a -1 at deadly hits. He's not the strongest guy around. Only strength bonus +1. So he's just doing a D10, 2d10 plus 3. Guessing that probably should have been +4. EO1, 2d10 plus 4. Ooh. Well, that's nice. And 24 points of damage. The only problem is that damages his sword. It's got a 4% chance of breaking. 67 does not break. And he outright kills number 2. Get rid of number 2. Purple blood. Nice. All right, and Marazan will swing at number 5. See what she's rolling. On the +10 line, he rolls a 14, and she is subtracting 7 for the sword skill. 7. So that is going to be a 7 on the +10 line. So that's going to be a severe hit, which he is doing 10 plus 7. So 9 points of damage. Number 5, -9, Marazan, 4 hit points left. And now our zombies will swing. What's left of them anyways. Number 1 on Raffin is going to be on the -2 line. So 30 on the -2 can be a shield hit, even with some minuses or pluses. So that's a shield hit for Raffin. There. Okay, and next one, number 5 on Marazan. 80 is going to be a miss. We are on to the next phase. Let's see. This one will lumber up to her and attack. 5, 10, 15. That one lumbers up to there. Gildor will move here and say, hey, let's attack number 3. So the two of them are attacking the same one, getting the extra -5 just to make sure that they can take care of these things a little more thoroughly, I guess. And we start with Raffin. Raffin, that's going to be a 6 on the +10 line, so severe hit. Raffin is doing a D10 +9. Really got to swap weapons sometimes with these guys. So 16. It only had 18 points. That's going to be another point of damage on the weapon. And a very slight chance of breaking. Ooh, close. Didn't break. Needed like a 2 or 3%. And this thing is finished with the remaining 8 points of damage. All right, let's get rid of number 1, and he will actually end up moving at the end during that round. But 5 and 4 are going to be attacked. Well, 5 is going to be attacking Marazan. 4 is going to be 1 to 3 Marazan. Marazan and zombie number 3 going to be attacking Gildor. So that was Raffin. His zombie is dead, so number 1 is gone. Gildor swings at number 3. He's going to have an extra -5. He is going to do a +7 liney. 7 line, 64. Yeah, he's got enough minuses to make a shield hit, so it doesn't have a shield. And he is doing a d6 +4. 5. So 3 points get through. And that's why we have multiple attacking the one creature. 3 points get through, -3 for Gildor. 10 left. And Marazan swings. Hopefully she can finish it off here. She's got Goku to minuses. That's a miss. Zombie number 5. Backing 5 from his roll. 20. No natural weapon index, so just -5 for the multiple opponents. 4 and 5 being on Marazan. That's 24. And it is on the -3 line, which is the DCV 10 versus OCV 7. 24 on the -3 line is going to be a shield hit. Marazan's getting 2 expertise on the shield. It is doing, I don't think it can actually damage your shield, so 6 points of damage. And it needs 7 points to do a point of damage at this point. No damage. The second one on Marazan, that's going to be a hit. That's 13 on the -3 line. It's going to be a regular hit. Die 6 plus 1, 3 points, and her chainmail, which has an armor value 3, blocks all of that. And the one on Gildor is on the -1 line. 52 on the -1 is going to be a miss. Excellent. All right, next phase. Raffin. Raffin will swing at number 5. Number 5 is already damaged, so it only has 4 points left. 15 less 11 is going to be a 4 on the +10 line, is going to be a deadly hit. And he does a die 10 plus 9. So 17 less 2, 15. Definitely going to do the last 4 points damage. That is dead. So 17 points with his sword is actually going to damage the sword. And again, he's got so 17 less 4 on that is going to be 13. 13. So 17 less 13 is 4% chance. 84 does not break. Getting a little paranoid with that weapon at this point. I think if we're fighting zombies or things, he's going to be switching to a non-magical weapon. Right, so let's get rid of zombie number 5. And we'll go on to Gildor swinging at number 3 again. So they're both swinging at number 3. Actually, you know what? Gildor's just going to swing at 3. Marazan's going to swing at number 4. So Gildor is rolling an 18. He is subtracting 7 from his roll, so 11 on the +7 line. 11 is going to be a severe hit. And for a severe, Gildor is doing D10 plus 3. No, not great. So less 2 for the armor value, so 3 points get through. Marazan is swinging at number 4. 40. That's going to be on the +10 line. Going to be a hit, which he is doing a die 6 plus 4 with. So 4 points. There we go. 4 points. 9 left. And these things attack. 1 to 4, or sorry, yeah, 1 to 4 zombie number 4 attacks Marazan still. Yep. And zombie number 3 on a 1 or 2 switches to Marazan. Oh, switches Marazan. So 2 of them are on Marazan. So -5s. 50 on the minus something line is going to be a miss. The other one is a complete miss. So phase 4. Raffin is swinging at number 4 with Marazan, so he's got a bunch of minuses. That's going to be just a regular hit, fortunately. And with that regular hit, he's doing die 6 plus 5. Die 6 plus 3 if we take off the natural armor. So 5 points. Number 4. 4 points left. And let's see. Gildor swings at his. That's going to be likely a miss on the plus 7 line. 2 less 7. Yeah, it's going to be a miss. Oh, hang on. That's not. Let me just double check that math. He's subtracting a total of 7. So 72 less 7 is 65. Yeah, he missed by 1. And Marazan, last but not least. He rolls a 41 less 5 for the 2 attackers and 7 for a skill, so less 12, 30, 29. Plus 10 line, that's still a regular hit. Die 6 plus 3. So 4 points, 2 of which get through. Is this thing still standing? I'm not doing so great on this. They should have been able to kind of slice these down pretty fast, you'd think. Hey, zombie number 4. I'm just going to say they're both still attacking Marazan. 0-0. Ooh, I was worried there for a second. That's a miss. And 52 is going to be, even with some minuses, might be a shield hit if it's lucky. But then she's got bonus of 5 for her shield. So yeah, so 52 is net 52. That's a miss. And we're on to phase 1. So, let's see if they can just finish these 2 zombies off, and this will probably be the end of the battle, or the end of this recording after this. For the next time, I'll tally up their experience, update all their character sheets, and we'll have some fresh character sheets to continue on through this little dungeon area. So, Raffin, 36 less 9, 16, 36. So that's going to be a 20 on the plus minus 10 line. It's going to be a regular hit. So d6 plus 5. 5 points. On number 4, that's all. You can only do 2, so minus 2 for Raffin. And I'm just going to roll for Marazan because she can get 2 off that as well. Oh, that's going to be a deadly hit. Which I'm just going through the motions here just in case she happens to break yet another weapon. So she is doing 3d10 plus 8. 3d10 plus 8. So 18. Less 2, 16. Yeah, so she gets 2 as well. And so 18 points. Another point of damage on her best sword. Her best sword was at 9, so that's a 9% chance of breaking. 48. Nope, it does not break. Alright, so that's another zombie down. Number 4. And last but not least, we have Gildor swinging at his zombie. And that's going to be a deadly hit. Which I guess isn't so bad since Gildor's not as strong as these other guys. He's doing 2d10 plus 3. Let's see, he's doing 12 points less 2, so 10 points. And it only has 7 left. So he does 7. He finishes that one off. We will get rid of that guy. And like I said, I'm going to tally up all the experience here. It's not going to be that great. These are only CDF1 creatures, so it's 1 times the damage that they did for them and 2 expertise in each of the different weapons. No spells were cast. Nobody was hit for any damage, so these guys are raring to go for the next time around. And of course, one thing I have been doing is the facing. So these little yellow arrows would be showing the facing of the pogs here. Or the tokens, and I have been shifting those around, but it wasn't too critical for this battle. So again, thanks for joining me, everybody, and hopefully it was at least somewhat informative. We will catch you next time.